Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen up. He's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, by the street of light, flashing time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man.
Hey everyone, welcome to Storytime with Spidey. It's me again, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Hoping you're enjoying this nice peaceful afternoon. And for those who saw it last time, you might remember that I said that today I was going to revisit the whole art lesson thing, because we had a lot of fun last time. You might remember when I showed you how to do my fabulous webbed head. Well, today we're going to take it a step further and do an actual full body. Now, when you draw me, of course, you always think of really cool poses like me swinging, shooting a web, crawling up a wall, things of that sort. So we want to do a nice cool pose, what we would call a dynamic pose. And I thought we would take a crack at this one. I know it looks tough, but I'm going to show you how to make it easy. So if you just go with me, follow the steps that I lay out, you'll be able to make this happen. So if you're ready, let's begin. Now, as always, we start with the head. You start with the head because that helps you kind of position the body to where and how you want it to be. And it also helps you keep things in what we call proportion, where everything is the right size for the body. And I'm going to remind you that we start with a circle. This is indicating the top part of my head before we add the chin. You don't want to keep it round because even though it looks cool on a plushie, it's not so good because that's not what my actual head is shaped like. My head is more like an oval, an upside down egg. So after you do the top round part, you'll kind of, now remember, do light strokes like this, like you see me doing with my hands. You see, you'll position it like so. Then the rest of the body, it just comes down to a series of shapes. Once you learn to look at it as a series of shapes, you can draw just about anything. Now, real quick, don't start on the costume details just yet. Like, don't add the eyes or the spider or any of that just yet. We're not there yet. So the next thing we want to do this portion of the body, what they call the torso. That is this middle section right here. And how we do that is, it's kind of going to be, because of how it's positioned, kind of what they call an oblong shape. Something that's not perfectly round, but still roundish. See? Like that. And we do another one just a little bit narrower, underneath. So this is the upper part, this is the lower part. And you see, we're already getting somewhere. Okay. Now, for these purposes, I'm going to do the arms next. And the arms are, again, a series of shapes. So you'll start with the first one, which is the shoulder. Again, kind of roundish, because we want to show a little bit of muscle there. Don't go super big with it, because remember, I'm not the Hulk. I'm not Thor. I do have some muscle though. We do that just like this. Just stay with me. If you follow the steps, you can do this. And now I'm going to do another kind of roundish shape at the very end, which when I'm done will be the hand. Now hands are hard for most artists, but don't let that scare you. Again, if you think of it in terms of just a collection of shapes, you can do hands. So now we're going to do the forward arm, and we'll again make it a series of shapes. We start with the shoulder. Now I'm going to show you something real quick using our model here. You might see that from this angle, it looks like the arm that's further back is really tiny and the one that's forward is really big. That is called perspective. Things that are further away look smaller, things that are closer look bigger, just like how it is in real life. A thing that you see up close is going to look much bigger than the thing that's further away. So when we're drawing though, we have to kind of use tricks to get that same perspective. And this particular trick, we call it foreshortening. That sounds like a pretty big word, but basically all it means is that when a part of the body is forward or away, we do what we have to do to either shrink or grow it so that it looks right from that angle. It's also a thing that trips a lot of people up. But it's nothing to be scared of. It's a little hard, but with practice you'll get it. So I have a shoulder, and I still need the rest of my arm. So we do this. Just another kind of oval-y thing. We're going to do one more for the lower part of the arm. And then comes the hand. Now, because this hand is kind of open, because I'm doing this, you're going to need the shape of the hand to get started. So how we do that, now I'm going to heavy it a little bit so you can see it better. It's kind of a trapezoidal shape, because that is the shape of the palm. So, I'm not going to add the fingers to the hand just yet. We'll get back to that, because as you see, I have a head, and I have a chest, and I even have a belly area, and I have arms, but what's missing? I need legs. Can't very well be a wall crawler without it. And how would I fight crime? Again, just think in terms of shapes. Now this is another reason why you use light strokes, is because you're going to be making a lot of lines that you're going to have to erase. Now, don't skip over certain parts just because the way that the body will be positioned, they're going to be covered. Never do that. This way you keep everything lined up. It's better to just draw those extra lines and erase them when you're done. So even though my forward arm is kind of blocking part of my leg, we're still going to draw it as if the arm wasn't there. Now, because as you see in our model, my legs are kind of bent, we're going to do the same thing accordingly. Okay. Now the shape right here at the top, that's the knee. Knees are very important. You can't bend your legs without them. And then we have the little, well, calf muscle that extends down from there. Here, now we have the ankle. We're definitely making progress here. And now comes another thing that people tend to get scared of, feet. When you look at feet, they look very hard and very complicated. But again, we're going to make it simple. Now, because of how my foot is positioned here, I'm going to do the forward part first. And see, that is all you need to get that part done. And then we do the back part. Yeah, just a quick little fill in right here. You see, you have to kind of connect the parts. You can't just let the shapes just sit by themselves. See, we're getting somewhere, right? Now we'll do the other leg. See, it's just kind of the same way. You just make it a kind of roundish oblong shape. Now, because this leg is turned sideways, this time we do the knee like that. Don't do it as round as the one that's turned forward. And here we have again the calf muscle. That's the muscle right below the knee. It's this area right here. That's what we're doing right now. And you can see we're almost there. And again, we do the ankle like so. Think of it as kind of like a U shape extending down from where the calf is. And we have, again, the foot. Now this time, because of how the foot's positioned, we're going to do it this way. This is kind of like another trapezoid type deal, kind of like my hand is. Like that. And you extend it like that. Now you see, here I have a whole body, which is good, but now we have to dress it. Now, if you remember what I said last time about how to do my head, you kind of want to do a dividing line down the middle of the head so that everything is nice and even. Then we add the eyes. Now for my eyes, you start with kind of a V shape, but not a perfect letter V. It's more like this, like when you're drawing birds that are far away. You've probably done that a time or two. That's how you're going to start my eyes. Then you're going to curve underneath it, like so. But don't come all the way over. One. And two. Okay. Now, actually, before we go any further with the costume, let's get those pesky fingers out of the way. That has to be done. I can't shoot web without my fingers. I can't hold the web line without my fingers. Definitely need them. So with this one, with the closed hand, I'm going to do that first because it's a little bit easier. Think of the fingers as little cylinders. Look at how the fingers are, how it's 3 sections. If you draw each section one at a time, you can actually do some pretty decent fingers. You can see I have my thumb here, and because my hand is closed, I can just do these like this, showing the fingers that are there. And there, you see? We have fingers. Now for this one, this hand, 3 of the fingers are stretched out because that's how I do my webs. We'll do, again, the thumb first. I just like to do the thumb first. Kind of helps me figure out how all the fingers are going to go. Now we're going to do this finger. We call this the index finger. There's the first section. There's the second. And there's the third. Now we're going to do the next finger, the next one over, which, as you remember, is bent. So we do a section this way, and then we kind of angle the next section down. And we're going to do the next finger over exactly the same way. We're just going to make it a little bit smaller because that's how your fingers are made in real life. And then what's left is this finger, the pinky. We do it the same way we did the first one, only again a little bit smaller, because it is a little finger. And we also kind of want to angle it out a little bit, because that's what I'm doing. So, as you can see, it's not as hard as it looks at first. You just have to know how to look at it. And we're going to pause it here because we've done so much and we're actually kind of out of time. But we will return to this where I show you how to fill in all the details for my awesome costume. Now, a thing to think about when it comes to that is I have a lot of different costumes that you've probably seen in the movies and the comics and cartoons and what have you. And you might want to choose which one that you want to do. But for these purposes, we're going to do what they call my traditional one, the one that I've worn the most, that everybody knows. The one that more or less looks like this. But that will be when we return to drawing with Spidey. But you're just gonna have to stay tuned to find out when that is. So, thank you for stopping by. And until next time, Excelsior!
Is he strong? Listen up. He's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there, there goes a Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Welcome, friend. He's to him. Life is a great big bang.